Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Samuel Leggett here representing Team JVS here to give you guys another movie review. This is, dare I say, the biggest movie this year in Avatar Fire and Ash. So let's go ahead and kind of break it open. Um, this movie, from a visual perspective, is amazing. Definitely the best looking out of all three. Way of Water came out in 2022. The original one came out in 2009, which is a crazy thing to say. And the next one that will be coming out in 2029, within the next 2 to 3 years. But here and now, presently, um, I can just tell you like some of the scenes and how they handled the aerial shots, the visual immersion of like the battle sequences. And I think that also, not since the first one, we've had a lot of human interaction with the Navi as well. Because in this one, unfortunately, Jake Sully and his family are put in a very dire situation, and it is literally life and death. And on top of that, we know for a fact that the catalyst to this is Stephen Lang's character Miles. From the last one, it was a very hard situation because he's got a son involved, and we don't know how Spider fits in with the family, but we do know that the catalyst for a lot of the dissension came in from what Spider did or didn't do, and it's left the family in disarray. And so there are certain human interactions that happen in this film that we haven't had honestly since the first movie, which is very interesting because I was wondering how they're going to visually handle it. It looks seamless. There are certain moments where especially because you got to see this in 3D. This is the reason why you watch IMAX 3D. This is the moment, whether it's Dolby IMAX, whether it's General IMAX, whatever, you have to watch it in that at least once. But as far as depth of field, as far as like some of the way they handle some of the aerial shots, the camera movement, it's just insane. Now, I will say that some of the human character interactions are very lackluster. A lot of the human characters at this point, I don't know. It's not even that they look bad seeing them one to one with the Navi. It's more so I don't know if I care too much about the human storyline. At this point now, you've immersed us into a whole different world, which is why this is another elevation to this one over Way of Water from my perspective, and that is the Ash people, the actual fire Navi that are close to these volcanoes, and the way they don't look to Awa, where they do what they want. They are a lot more savage, they're a lot more visceral, and they are also very linear. And they that's way I can kind of put it, are led by a character named Van Rang. And Van Rang is played by the amazing Oana Chaplin. Oana Chaplin in this movie is the make or break. She kills it. She is one of the most interesting, dangerous, psychopathic characters that this series has had yet. Because we haven't really seen like the Navi in a very, what's the word I can say? None of them have been corrupt. None of them have been, dare I say, evil or sadistic. They've had their own moral compasses. They've got their own perspective, their own beliefs, but there's nothing like her as a character. Like when you watch her with Jake Sully's family or with even Miles, it's man, they are just lighting it up. And I think that honestly, Stephen Lang and her, their interactions, like I think that there was a moment where I was watching them going back and forth that I forgot that they were playing avatars. Like I only saw the character, and I think that's where I can say like from going from the first movie to this one, like Stephen Lang went through a whole metamorphosis in the second movie, and now I've just accepted it because his character's having to accept what this means to actually be free to not play protocol. Now, what that means, if you've seen Walking Dead and you know who Negan is, he very much so is going that trajectory, but that doesn't mean or negate the other surrounding characters. And again, I think these are all pluses. These are all positives in my personal perspective. And I think that Spider is a big proponent to the positives. Now, Spider is very weird looking when it comes to the rest of the Na'vi, but the way that they handle Spider, it is amazing because Zoe Saldana, man, Neytiri in this movie goes through it. And I honestly think Jake as well. Like, this is the most that we've got from Neytiri and Jake since the first movie because of what happened to their family in the second movie. And I think that Sam and Zoe are just, they are these characters. And I think that there are certain levels in this where they go through these different levels of personal questions that I think that people deal with day to day, whether they've lost somebody, whether they've lost acceptance within themselves, whether they deal with like discrimination or being discriminated against, or also having dealing with self-hatred, or if they're also dealing with a bias, or it's even deeper than that, self-hate. And it's so, man, there's two specific conversations that happen towards the middle and the end of this movie that I was just like, this is everything. And also, there's also some interesting things that happen with some of the other characters as well. Yeah, ooh, I don't want to spoil any of it, but let's just say that one of the characters goes to a very emotionally wrecking place because you don't know who they think they are, and you don't know what they're going to do, but they're just trying to traverse through this life. And it is very important. And that's the weird thing about this movie. I think that this movie, as action packed as it is and insane as it is, this has more connective emotion and I think a real building block from a narrative perspective, more so than The Way of Water did. I think The Way of Water, from an action standpoint and coming off of like what, 10 plus years, like it was like it had a lot to prove. Whereas this one, it gave me a brand new character it gave me, of course, stunning visuals and a crazy action and a very interesting trade-off story because you don't really know where this is going to go, but you know it's generational. And I think the other thing about it is that it is very um hard grained on what is your place in life. Does your family dictate who you're supposed to be, or does your status dictate that, or does your skin color dictate that? All of those different questions are asked in this movie, whereas I'm like, where did we come from here? Where are we at? Like, it's not just like um some race of people being domesticated, or like some people being stolen from amongst themselves, or internal anguish going on. This is much deeper than that. And I think that I really do appreciate it in hindsight, having watched it. But yeah, I really think that this was a special one. And I think I really enjoyed it a lot more than the second one. And I do think that the first one is still, you know, like up there, but I think the first one is up there because like there was nothing anything like it at the same time. And it was also a very simple and straight to the narrows storyline that we've seen before. Whereas this one has a lot that it had to do without making it seem too much. And I don't think it was too much. I think it was just enough. But let me know as soon as you get a chance to go and check out this movie. Yeah, I want to say more, but I'm gonna keep my tongue tied. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. If I give you guys a review rating for it, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10 or a B plus. Highly recommend you go and check it out. Go and check out Avatar Fire and Ash, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace, everybody.